Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Heartland Mamas. I'm Murray Briel.
And I'm Heidi Henry, coming to you from 3 separate studios at the edge of the Great Red Divide. And today, Murray, we're going to talk about local governance. But first, I want to tell everybody to find us at Heartland Mamas, MAMAS.com for more videos and for all of our podcasts. So, Murray, introduce our guest today.
You can also get us on Dumbcast USA. So be sure to like, subscribe, and share because we bring your voices to the public. And that's what we're doing today with our amazing guest, Meta Mueller. She is the majority whip for the Will County Board. And I think a lot of times Heidi and I shows focus on larger scale politics, such as national, such as congressional, such as state. And we really need to focus on our local county boards, our local races, because those are imperative.
Well,
so
as we manage the pandemic, we manage it very much more local than we do on a federal level. We have no federal response. So we do have state-by-state response, but it boils down to what's happening in our local communities. So that's why it's really important to focus on what's being done, how it's being done, and what's important. So, Miss
Meta, now tell us a little bit about what a county board's responsibility is in general.
Okay. Well, we make, it's sort of, I like to explain it. So a lot of people can relate on a federal level that we have the judicial branch, legislative branch, and the executive branch. And so the county board serves as that legislative branch for the county. A lot of what we do affects the folks who live in the unincorporated areas of Will County. Municipalities sort of govern themselves in the laws within their boundaries. So you can kind of look at us as the Congress of Will County. And that's what we do. We meet all the time. We have lots of committees. We talk about a lot of things.
Now,
and come to decisions.
What percentage of the county, Will County, is unincorporated, land-wise and population-wise?
That's a really great question. And I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that I don't know that percentage off the top of my head.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to surprise you. I was just kind of trying because municipalities take care of the municipalities. You guys take care of unincorporated and larger issues. So I was just kind of knowing how many folks, but yet even though, say, I live in Joliet has its own restrictions and own guidelines, I still vote for county board members because you still represent me as well.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, and we represent you. The sheriff is part of the county. The courthouse, the judges, they're part of the county. So everybody uses those services. We take care of a lot of roads in the area, and we work with the state on a lot of things, construction, Weber Road, stuff like that. So we do. There is a lot to be said for making sure you're voting for your local county and municipal folks, because we do a lot of stuff that affects daily lives.
Yeah. What kind of powers do you have as a county board, and what kind of things do you administer? Sorry, my son's calling. I forgot to shut my phone off.
Reminded me to turn down my ringer.
So what kind of powers do you have as the county board? I think a lot of people confuse the county board with the sheriff's department as far as that you have the powers to do things like that. And I think it's a really important distinction that we have on what exactly your powers are.
Right.
You also oversee the forest preserve, correct? Mm-hmm. And Will County has a beautiful, amazing forest preserve.
Yeah.
And the Will County Board is responsible for that.
Mm-hmm. When you land yourself a seat on the Will County Board, you also get to be a Will County Forest Preserve Commissioner. And I have to say that is kind of like the rainbow fun part of this job for me, anyways.
Yeah.
As far as what our powers are, I think people perceive we have a lot more power than we do.
Mm-hmm.
one of the great examples right now is we're going through discussions about what to do for property taxes, because people's property taxes are coming due and folks are finding themselves strapped
Right.
for money because of this pandemic. And what I've learned is that our powers are limited by the state. So there's a lot of things that people say, well, why can't you just do this? And we have to work within state laws and govern responsibly that way.
Okay.
So you can't do what's best for Will County. You can only do what's best for Will County as far as you can in the context of what you're allowed to do.
Right.
Because you're governed by all these other principles.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a giant, this is one of the things that we talk about is, everything shuffles down instead of going the opposite way, which would make more sense. So now I know the board is democratically controlled.
Yes.
We have, now that was just a recent development, which has, how has that changed what has happened in Will County over the last 2 years?
I find that not only did it become Democrat controlled, but it's also majority women now.
Oh, nice. I like that.
I do too.
Go ladies.
I find that there's lots of good collaboration between the women.
Good.
If you don't mind me bringing it up, was you were right before the pandemic hit, you were in DC, correct?
Yes.
And you were there with your Republican counterpart, is that correct?
She was not there with me. There's a organization called the National Association of Counties, and lots of counties in the country are part of it. And we go to their conventions, which are fantastic opportunities to learn more about what other counties are doing, learn ways that other counties are dealing with things that come up for us, that maybe there's another way to look at this. It's great networking. I got to meet a lot of people from the collar counties, which was really cool because, not every day I'm going to cruise on up to Lake County and meet all the board members. Right. So, but yes, several of my friends across the aisle were in Washington, D.C. as well. It's an opportunity for them to learn too. So.
And I guess what I'm saying is, yes, there's clearly differences when you're governed.
Right.
I know that Democrats have a different priority set. Republicans have a different priority set. Typically, we've talked about voting in blocks and standing as a party. But what's nice to see is that when you've talked to me about experiences, have always been that everyone is just very respectful of what your stand is until they get in front of the public. Like,
really?
You may not agree on the same things, you may argue, but you still have a common desire to make things better and work it out, particularly because we're women, and that seems to be better than the man thing.
We're relational. By nature, I feel like women tend to be more relational, and so it's how we work together.
I agree.
Go ahead, Heidi.
No, I agree with what Meta's saying. A lot of times women will find ways to compromise because we don't look at it as a battle, but as something to progress towards or a goal to achieve, and where everyone can be included instead of he wins or he wins. It's more of this is what we need for the community to win. At least that's what I have found when working with women in governance and in other things. So,
So much so.
Yes, this has been my experience my whole life.
So now, Meta,
I think all of ours.
There's been some brouhaha, and I must bring it up in Will County, particularly because we have a county board member who is very vocally a teabag.
Tea partier.
Teabagger is different from a tea partier, right? I think I'm just gonna say teabagger from now on. I don't get that party part. So anyway, he's very outspoken and he's a little ridiculous. He's the one that wanted it to be a sanctuary county. Could you explain the logic behind why you would make guns a sanctuary? Could you talk us through? So
could there be logic with that?
I don't. I don't understand the logic in that, quite frankly. It's this is something that's not governed at the county level.
Right.
And it's my understanding, this particular gentleman, it's my understanding there is a large group of folks in our country who are lobbying their local municipalities and counties and lower levels of government to pass these sanctuaries for Second Amendment rights. And my understanding from the lawyers who have read it is none of it doesn't make any legal sense, and it doesn't have any teeth, and so it kind of feels like it's more of a just trying to make a point.
Soapboxing.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
When we're trying to govern and make decisions and get things going for people, and we're spending our time on that instead, it can be frustrating.
I imagine so.
This isn't something we can govern or do something about at this county level. So
by having board members, do you think that those folks, and I'm not specifically singling out this one individual, although I did, I'm not at this moment. I'm asking, do you think that they understand, while they're grandstanding, soapboxing, creating issues, that do you think they understand that they really don't have any control over that? Do you think they're smart enough to know
hold on, Murray,
in their purview, or do you think that it's a political
Murray,
thing?
you and I have talked about this before. We know that this is not organic, and we know that it's very contrived, and we also know who is behind this movement.
Let's let our Democratic, who works across,
I know.
she has much closer relationship to these people than I do in a different capacity.
I try to always live my life believing that people are doing the best they can.
Right.
And I want to desperately believe that they understand that this is a waste of our time. But when it happens so frequently, it's really frustrating and disappointing and hard to continue believing that they're doing the best they can.
That is the best way I've ever heard that. That is so eloquently stated, Meta. And I just would like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I feel like I've held on to this hope that there is rationality and logic in society, and that mostly people are smart. Well, I've come to find out that people are selfish, and it's their own selfish
agenda. Not all
people.
A few people are, and they make it rough for those of us that aren't.
No. Because if you take a large portion of these, reopen the county, save the sanctuary, we know they're being manipulated, but they would not be manipulated if they didn't want to be. Some of them would, because they're just not that bright or that educated. But when it resonates with people, and I've seen this throughout this pandemic, that they realize wearing a mask is a good idea. Mm-hmm. They know in their logic, in every fiber of their being, the responsible thing is to stay home. Yet they've chosen to ignore logic, ration, and science. People who are sane and logical and intelligent and articulate and are usually progressively thinking are giving in to those tiny bits of information that aren't really real because they want it. It's a lack of self-control. I really think that's where we are. There's no discipline.
When I was in college, I lived with my mom, and I would come home from school and from my job at the mall at the time, and I would be so frustrated with things people had done throughout the day. And my mother would always say, "Meta, you can't expect the world to be as smart as you." And I always took that.
I like that.
And it's so funny. I always thought that's just my mom saying I'm pretty, because moms always tell you you're the prettiest or you're the smartest, right?
Yes.
And so now I'm 46, and my mom is almost 80, and she has dementia. And I remember her saying that to me, and I just sit back and I'm like, oh my gosh, mom was so right. Like,
make sure you tell her that on a regular basis. Mom,
I do.
Yeah, we'll just take a snip for you and send it to you, and you can send that to mom and be like, "Mom, you were so right," and she can play it all the time.
I thought she was just appeasing me and telling me I was smart.
But she was really onto something. So, so Meta, detail for us or for the audience what exactly is going on in your county in regards to the pandemic, because we know that here in Illinois that we have a directive from the governor for from the Illinois Department of Public Health on how to prevent the coronavirus COVID-19 from spreading, so that we can get to the other side of it, so that we can get back to our normal lives. And for some of us, and I would say most of our audience, we're very committed to getting to the other side, but there's a lot of people who are in the moment and can't seem to participate in public health initiatives. So if you want to go ahead and talk about how that affects your area, what you're able to do, what the impact is, and that sort of thing.
Well, I can tell you that we're taking a lot of measures at the county to make sure that all of our employees are protected. All of our department heads are reporting in weekly on updates on what's going on in their departments and if they have anybody who's sick.
And that includes the sheriff's department, the county jails, the
right. It includes the treasurer, the county clerk, and all of it. Our health department. So the county is actually doing a lot. I think that we've started doing. We're part of the initiative to do all the testing with the state, the contact testing and tracing.
Yes.
So our community health, we have a community health center van that I believe is usually used for dental visits to folks out in the community. That's being used as sort of a mobile testing.
Oh, how nice.
Unit.
That's awesome.
And so you also have a contact tracing plan in place?
It's all being done by the state, is my understanding.
Okay.
And the health department, though, does have contact tracers on staff for normal outbreaks. They have professionals who already do this. So they're the ones that will run it. If I'm not mistaken, they'll run it at the local level, but the whole program has been rolled out at the state level.
Right.
Yeah. So
right
the local
now,
health
we're really
department,
following whatever the state health department and J.B. Pritzker, what the governor is handing down to us is what we're following. Will County is very unique in that we're very big.
Yes.
When you look at a map of all the counties, we're geographically really big. We are very diverse from the north end to the south end of the county. When you guys were asking earlier about how much of the area of the county is unincorporated, if you look at our county board district map, you're going to notice as you get south, the districts get bigger and bigger. Right. And that's because we have more rural communities down there, down in the south. And so I feel like we're really unique in that we're kind of urban up north and country down in the south. And so
like a
it's
mullet.
hard sometimes. Exactly. It's so hard sometimes to know what's going to be best for everyone because we have such different needs from one end of the county to the other.
Well, in Will County, butting right up to Cook County, kind of puts you into more of an area as a commuter county. So people, I know LaSalle County that I live in is a commuter county, meaning a lot of our people drive into Will County or Cook County to work. So they're bringing those terms back. And I have a hard time explaining to people in my area that the bulk of the people who live here that aren't involved in farming are driving into the areas where there is a higher community spread, a higher amount of people that are sick, and then they're coming back into our area, and the contamination goes back and forth. And I know the struggle to try to get local municipalities and local people in my area to understand, and I'm sure you're getting that feedback from the rural end of your county to the more urban area of your county. Is that right?
We are, and there's lots of spots where Cook County and Will County border each other by like Harlem Avenue. Folks who live on one side of Harlem Avenue live in Cook, and folks on the other side live in Will.
Oh my goodness!
And they work in the same communities together. I mean, there's no border there. We can't stop that from happening. And I want people to be able to do as much as they can.
Right.
But it has to be safe. It has to be safe. I have two parents who are diabetic. I have autoimmune disease myself. I'm really fearful for people who are more susceptible to catching this virus and dying or having lifelong consequences, because we just don't really know what the lifelong, what the long term looks like for this.
And as we see the inflammatory disease popping up in children all over, this virus is mutating and changing. And you're right, Meta. And I know you're kind of facing pressure. We mentioned that fella from the board who is a teabagger, right? That's the right word?
No.
Oh, my bad. I'm so sorry.
And Murray, we know
really remember that.
We know that the Tea Party is really no longer really that. It's morphed for the 2020 election.
Yes, they were always jacked up anyway. But so we know that we've seen some representatives in more rural areas of our state suing that we've got jackasses with the highest. Oh, did I say jackasses? I meant teabaggers with the highest percentage. We're still getting censored for this. We better put that in our hashtags. Hashtag teabagger cod. We'll have viewers out the yip yap. I'm telling you, that's all there is. So, but you've got in areas where there's hotspots, in serious explosions of cases not related to nursing homes, or we keep saying that nursing homes and congregate settings and meat packing plants are the places where these outbreaks are happening. The reason
these are people.
Well, no, yes, because there's people, but here's what we're thinking. We're thinking, oh, there's some other reason why, because they're without realizing that, hey, all the office buildings have been shut down. Hey, all the schools have been shut down. Now let's take the amount of people who are in a processing plant, or 200 people in a congregate care facility, just 200 people, and put them in an office building with tens of thousands of people and an internal duct system that spreads 3 sick people across 1,000. This is what we're not understanding. And so, it's hard when people, when you're not, it was so dramatic in other places so fast that I think we kind of became a little bit immune to what this really means. I think we sort of, okay, well, we're not seeing those frontline workers on nightly news crying. We are hearing, that ours are at capacity, but we still got room. It's only meat packing. It's only China. It's only India. It's not going to affect us.
It's only old people. It's only already sick people.
They're people.
Yeah, they are people.
Well, and the point is it isn't just old people. It isn't just young people. It is affecting everyone, and we need to take these responsibilities seriously. And then we have the representatives up north, south. DuPage County is now trying to, and now DuPage sits right up against Will and Cook. So we all touch this little crescent. And now they're suing to open up DuPage County, which they have a higher commuter traffic than Will the Cook does. And yet, and here's the thing, we're all flipping out. The governor said yesterday that we have reached phase 3. Starting next week, we'll move into phase 3 a week ahead of time. He said that yesterday, for goodness sakes. So why are we freaking out? Why is everyone exploding? Because they've been politicized.
It's an incredible waste of energy and dollars.
I have to ask you, all right, I live in Will County. We have a great forest preserve. So I'm a little biased here, but I got to ask Meta to tell us about the health department and the rapid vaccine response program they have in place. You want emergency preparedness.
I've been told when I first came on the board, one of the things that I learned from our health department director was that we have the ability to vaccinate our county in 48 hours.
The entire county.
Yeah, the population of the county in 48 hours. And I was dumbfounded. I don't even know what that would look like. I don't know if, I don't know. Does that mean we all line up at the hospitals? I don't know what that looks like. But I thought,
is it door to door?
Wow.
I mean, can you imagine those metrics if you were canvassing?
Sure, there has to be community show up involvement or something, right?
Right.
I would, but the fact that they had a plan in place well before a pandemic. This is well before COVID, okay? We're
Well, and I
facing
wonder,
factor
like,
18.
H1N1, things like that. I mean, we've had. That's what I try to explain to people is, as a country, we've had viruses show up, and
Yes.
because we had such a good pandemic plan in place federally,
Yes.
We weren't affected
it
the way
didn't
we
turn
could have
into
been.
this. Right. It didn't
Yeah.
turn into this.
We
If we still had that pandemic team and we had folks on the ground in these other countries where things are brewing before they get here, like we did
with
previously in
SARS,
our
with Ebola, with
government,
H1N1. You know.
it's incredibly frustrating. And again, like to assume everyone's doing the best they can, but it's really hard some days.
It really is. So I know that most of the municipalities near me are starting to think onto the other side, and we know that every municipality, every governing body, every tax receiving or taxing body is going to be suffering an economic failure or economic downturn
Yes.
or economic difficulties. So I know you talked a little bit about, your taxing structure. I know here in LaSalle County, we got a 2-month extension on our property taxes. And here's how that looks to me. That looks to me like my county is going to be having economic issues, building 2 months out, but they're trying to think ahead and try to spare people from paying at this moment in time. But the thing is it's like dominoes. When the taxpayers start to struggle, it dominoes all the way up the food chain. So in the county that you're in Will County, are they starting to prepare for what? Are you all starting to prepare for what's on the other side? What were your economic?
We are.
Okay.
So we've had a lot of discussion about how to handle the property tax situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the finance committee. Ken Harris is our chair. So we had a meeting. We've been doing all of our meetings on WebEx, which is a video platform online. Anyone who wants to watch meetings, you just go around to the Will County Board website and you'll find your link.
Okay.
We welcome public participation. The finance committee wanted to also do similar to what LaSalle County was doing and give people the ability with a hardship waiver to delay paying by 2 months. Our state's attorney strongly advised against this. They did not feel that that was legal within the statutes of the state.
Okay.
One of the things that's concerning is that, like you mentioned, if the county is sort of like we're the tax collector, and then that money gets dispersed.
Right.
We don't keep that money.
Right.
So, there's taxing bodies that need that money. A prime example is my school district, Oswego. We need that money to make payroll.
Right.
So.
Right.
Right. We need to pay our teachers. But anyways. So what we've come up with and what I'm told we're going to be voting on a resolution in our county board meeting coming up on Thursday, that is within the law, where we will be able to divide the installments up over 4 payments.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Right. So that's within our abilities,
Mm-hmm.
we're told by our state's attorney. There was a lot of pushback because we know what some of the other counties are doing. It's my understanding Lake County is taking the same approach that we are.
Okay.
I had hoped to be able to help people a little bit more than that, but I understand that, I'm one person on a 26-person board. So if this is what's within our legal rights and this is what people will agree to on the board, then it's what we're going to move forward with.
I think it's very important for the public to realize that even though you are the tax collector, that these payments going out to these other governing bodies are something they can't do without. Everybody's been on a very tight budget for so long. I can't remember a time where we weren't worrying about robbing Peter to pay Paul. I mean, it's just, super, super tight. And when you can, if you're able to pay your taxes when you were supposed to, originally, please do so. It doesn't hurt anybody if it's not harming the person who's the taxpayer. But yeah, like you said, in your district, the teachers have to get paid. In my district, it's everything from fire and library and school and just like everybody, and everybody's hurting, and this pandemic is going to make it harder for all of us. So for all of us that worry about other entities paying their bills, it's not just us that are hurting, it's other entities. So
right. And the domino effect is the perfect way to describe it, because one domino falls and it wipes out,
Yeah. We have been so schooled, especially in the last, I'm going to say 30 years, to not have reserves, to not have a rainy day fund. And I really think that that's something on the other side of the pandemic that we need to start. Personally, I'd like to see our local governments planning ahead for rainy days. I mean, a pandemic like this is not going to happen. God, I hope not again.
You'll be glad to know the Will County Forest Preserve
Mm-hmm.
actually has planned ahead for the rainy day.
Yay!
And we have 11 months of reserves that we can use, that we can live off
Will
of.
County Forest Preserve is run very, very well, and the board does an amazing job, and it's a great organization. And I gotta say, our Will County board, in the last 2 years has had some great decisions and done a lot of fantastic work. Thank you, Meta, and to all of our. But that brings me to something else. In the very beginning, you mentioned, thanks, JB, for thinking about different things. Heidi and I did a special just earlier in the week, and we talked about thanking our representatives. We talked about, we get it. It doesn't seem like they're doing things, but Meta, you and I are friends personally, and I know you are constantly working on figuring out ways to do what you can for the people within the confines of what you have. And what can we do as people for you? What can residents of Will County, Illinois, what can we do to help you take care of us?
You can let us know how you're feeling about topics, whatever they look like. Whether it's always great to hear about things that we are voting on, stuff like that. County government is super unsexy, guys. There's, we don't do a ton of, super controversial things.
Right.
But hearing from the residents in the county, and voting. It saddens me when voter turnout is like 20%.
Yeah.
People are letting their neighbors who they may not see eye to eye with make choices about who's helping serve their everyday life. And I really want people to show up and vote. I'm going to strongly encourage people in this next election to do mail-in ballots in Illinois. All you have to do is go on your clerk's website and fill out the form, and they'll mail you a ballot.
Right.
I think
August 5th.
Right, August 5th. I'm also a precinct captain for my precinct, Wheatland 34.
Me too.
So I plan on doing a lot of work on that. But really, let us know what you're thinking about. Reach out to us.
And if you like what they're doing, guys, I don't know.
If you like what we're doing, please tell us, because it's good to hear good feedback.
What's the best way? Do we call you? Do we email you? Do we post it on social media? What's the best way to tell you thank you?
If you want to send emails to the whole county board, we have a general county board email box that our staff operates for us, and then they send us all the emails we get. They will also read emails out loud in public comment, and that is countyboard@willcountyillinois.com. If you want to talk to me personally, I am on Facebook. I have a personal page. I have a county board page. My email is mmueller@willcountyillinois.com. I always get a lot of questions about my name on Facebook. My name on Facebook is Meta Dom Mueller. It looks like it says Meta Dam Mueller. Dom/Dam is my maiden name.
You will always be damned to me.
Right. I'm not trying to be funny. That was really my last name before I got married. and I keep it on my Facebook page so people from my past can find me. So I know people ask me all the time, and so sometimes when I get a public moment like this, I'm like, "Hey, Dam is my maiden name," so that people know I'm not just trying to be a smart ass.
I love it.
Even though I know that happens sometimes.
That is a great last name, let me tell you.
And I know I said, let us know if you like what we're doing. Let us if you don't like what we're doing.
I think I hear that from a lot of county board members. They only ever hear from anybody when they've got a problem, and it would be nice to know that they're on the right path, So.
Yeah. And I'm always happy to help people. Like if you have a problem going on and you're not sure which government official to call or you're not sure which route to take, feel free to email me. I am usually pretty resourceful. I've got a really good network, and I'm always happy to try to help people whenever I can. Because I want people to be more involved, and I don't want them to be afraid to ask. There's no stupid question.
I agree. So,
Meta, we loved having you today. Will you come back on our show again?
I will, definitely.
Yay! Okay, well, we have reached our time.
I actually got ready today so I could see you. It was nice. Like,
you're fabulous.
I haven't put on makeup in like a month.
I know. It's like the only time I put my contacts in anymore is when we're going to do this. So I see better with my contacts in, but I've been wearing my glasses more and more. So, I do this so I can see.
I will put a little bit of makeup on for our broadcasts, and then I just completely stopped wearing mascara.
Well,
I believe in comfort.
I have to tell you, of the three of us, I got the best. Marie and I got lighting that's appropriate. I've got a backdrop that doesn't wash me out. I'm the lucky one because Marie and I made these lights so that we would look good.
Yes, we did.
So it's like up lighting, and I don't know. It's really nice. So Murray bought the lights. I just have the studio, but I get the lights because they're in my house.
The studio, right?
That's nice. I know. Maybe I should get some new lighting in my office. My backdrop is just my county board district.
That's awesome.
I love that.
That is fantastic. And it's not your standard bookcase. It's a working room, but so cool.
Right. I have a portrait of my grandmother, my great-grandmother that I'm named after, and I'm going to hang that behind me too. So that I'll have my grandmother behind me. It's a kind of spooky portrait, like Scooby-Doo Haunted House.
Ooh.
So.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Meta. Have a wonderful weekend.
Me, you guys.
Thank you so much.
Stay safe and healthy. And if you want to reach Meta, guys, please reach out. You can reach the county board at countyboard@willcountyboard.com. You can reach it Meta personally at Mueller at willcountyboard.com.
willcountyillinois.com.
Oh, sorry, willcountyillinois.com. And all of these links will be posted for you. But remember, if you like Meta, then you like us. Or maybe not. Maybe you like Meta and not us. But if you like us, share, subscribe, let everybody know about us, because we're trying to get your voice out to everyone.
It's so important to let your local governing bodies, including your county board, know how you feel during this time of pandemic, that they're doing a good job, because the only thing
unless you're reaching out to the teabaggers.
Well,
in which case, let them know.
That unfortunately, the squeaky wheels get all the news attention. And the rest of us need to start squeaking louder that we appreciate everything that you're doing, because you're doing the hard work that I don't have to do. And I know the amount of pressure you guys are under. So I do appreciate it so much. So
thanks, guys.
Thank you. So
thanks for coming
on.
Weekend.
We'll see you next
week.
All
right, take
Stay
care.
Safe out
Heartland
there.
Mamas, MAMAS.com. Take care now. Bye-bye, everybody.